Negative thinking is one of the biggest obstacles between us and the life we desire. It shackles our minds, drains our energy, and distorts reality. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and Roman emperors, understood this deeply. He wrote extensively about how our thoughts shape our reality, and if we do not master them, they will master us. So, how do we kill negative thinking? How do we break free from its grip and take control of our minds? The answer lies in Stoicism, a philosophy designed to teach resilience, clarity, and inner peace in the face of adversity. The first lesson is to understand that thoughts are not facts. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that we suffer more in our imagination than in reality. Most of our fears, doubts, and worries are projections of the mind, not actual threats. The mind has a tendency to overanalyze, exaggerate, and fabricate scenarios that never happen. When a negative thought arises, we must pause and question it. Is this thought based on reality, or is it just a story I am telling myself? The moment we begin to see thoughts as passing clouds rather than absolute truths, their power over us diminishes. The second lesson is about the impermanence of emotions. No feeling is final. Emotions, whether positive or negative, are like waves. They rise, peak, and eventually fade away. When we hold on to negativity, we create suffering for ourselves. Marcus Aurelius believed in observing emotions without being controlled by them. He taught that we should acknowledge our feelings, but not identify with them. A moment of anger, sadness, or frustration does not define who we are. Instead of reacting impulsively to negativity, we should take a step back, breathe, and remind ourselves that this too shall pass. The third lesson revolves around perception. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. These words from Marcus Aurelius hold the key to mental freedom. We cannot always control what happens to us, but we can always control how we interpret it. A situation is not inherently good or bad. It is our perception that makes it so. The same event can be seen as a crisis or an opportunity, depending on how we frame it. If we train ourselves to focus on solutions rather than problems, on lessons rather than failures, and on progress rather than setbacks, we develop an unshakable mindset. The fourth lesson is the practice of journaling. Marcus Aurelius' Meditations was his personal journal, where he reflected on his thoughts, struggles, and philosophies. Writing is a powerful tool for organizing the mind. When negative thoughts swirl chaotically in our heads, they seem overwhelming. But when we put them on paper, they lose their power. Journaling allows us to examine our fears and self-doubts with objectivity. It helps us see patterns, identify irrational beliefs, and replace them with constructive thinking. If you want to control your mind, start writing your thoughts down every day. The fifth lesson is embracing hardship as a teacher. Negative thinking often stems from resistance to adversity. We want life to be easy, but Marcus Aurelius teaches us that obstacles are not barriers. They are pathways. Every challenge, setback, and failure is an opportunity to grow stronger. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we should ask, "What can I learn from this?" The Stoics believe that suffering only exists in resistance. When we accept that life is unpredictable and hardships are inevitable, we stop fearing them. Hard times do not break us, they shape us. The sixth lesson is detachment from external validation. Much of our negative thinking comes from worrying about what others think of us. We seek approval, fear judgment, and let the opinions of others dictate our happiness. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that external opinions are beyond our control and, therefore, unworthy of our concern. We should not live for the praise of others, nor should we let criticism define our worth. True freedom is found in focusing on our values, our actions, and our integrity rather than seeking validation from the outside world. The seventh lesson is self-discipline. The mind, like a muscle, requires training. If we allow ourselves to indulge in negative thinking, it becomes a habit. But if we consciously practice positive mental habits, they become our new default state. Marcus Aurelius lived with strict discipline, training his mind daily through reflection and practice. He understood that mastering one's mind is not a one-time decision, but a lifelong process. We must be vigilant with our thoughts, constantly redirecting them towards wisdom, gratitude, and purpose. The eighth lesson is the power of presence. Negative thinking thrives in the past and future. We dwell on past mistakes or worry about future uncertainties. But Marcus Aurelius teaches us that the only reality is the present moment. Regret cannot change the past, and anxiety cannot control the future. By anchoring ourselves in the now, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. The next time you find yourself lost in negative thoughts, take a deep breath, observe your surroundings, and remind yourself, right now, I am here. I am alive. I am in control of my mind. The ninth lesson is gratitude. It is impossible to be deeply grateful and deeply negative at the same time. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the blessings in his life, even amidst challenges. He understood that gratitude shifts our focus from what is lacking to what is present. When we practice gratitude daily, whether by acknowledging small joys, appreciating loved ones, or simply recognizing the gift of existence, we rewire our minds for positivity. The final lesson is understanding the fleeting nature of life. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself of mortality, not as a source of fear, but as a tool for clarity. When we remember that life is short, we stop wasting time on negativity. We stop holding grudges, stop fearing failure, and stop dwelling on trivial worries. Instead, we focus on what truly matters: growth, kindness, purpose, and inner peace. The ultimate way to kill negative thinking is to live each day with the awareness that our time is limited. Every moment spent in negativity is a moment lost forever. We must choose wisely how we spend our mental energy. In conclusion, negative thinking is not something that disappears overnight. It is a mental habit that requires awareness, practice, and discipline to break. But the teachings of Marcus Aurelius show us that it is possible. By questioning our thoughts, controlling our perception, embracing hardship, detaching from external validation, practicing gratitude, and living with presence, we can free ourselves from the prison of negativity. The mind is the most powerful tool we have. If we learn to master it, we master our lives. Remember, no one can disturb your peace unless you allow them to. No thought can control you unless you give it power. You have the ability to choose your response, and in that choice lies your freedom. Let these Stoic lessons guide you towards a mind that is strong, calm, and unshaken by life's storms. Negative thinking is not just an occasional annoyance. It is the invisible force that limits our potential, drains our happiness, and keeps us trapped in cycles of fear, self-doubt, and frustration. It convinces us that we are not good enough, that failure defines us, and that our struggles are unfair burdens rather than opportunities for growth. It is a habit of the mind, and like any habit, it can be unlearned. If we do not take control of our thoughts, they will control us. But if we commit to mastering our minds, we open the doors to true freedom, clarity, and peace. The first step toward breaking free from negative thinking is recognizing that we are not our thoughts. Thoughts come and go. They appear in our minds like clouds drifting across the sky. Some are positive, some are negative, but none of them define us. When we learn to observe our thoughts rather than react to them, we reclaim our power. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that we have the ability to choose our responses. We cannot always control what thoughts arise, but we can control which ones we entertain. We can decide which ideas to feed and which to let pass. Just because a thought enters our mind does not mean we have to believe it or act on it. A key Stoic practice is journaling, writing down our thoughts, examining them, and questioning their validity. Often, what feels overwhelming in our minds becomes manageable when we put it on paper. If a negative thought keeps returning, ask yourself, is this thought based on facts, or is it just a fear? Would I say this to a friend who is struggling? What is a more helpful way to frame this situation? By practicing this level of self-awareness, we begin to weaken the grip of negativity on our minds, turning obstacles into opportunities. One of the greatest teachings of Stoicism is that obstacles are not meant to break us, they are meant to shape us. Every setback, every hardship, every painful moment carries within it the seed of growth. Negative thinking often arises because we resist difficulty. We want life to be smooth, effortless, and free from challenges. But as Marcus Aurelius wrote, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Instead of seeing struggles as unfair burdens, we can choose to see them as teachers. Every challenge strengthens our character, sharpens our wisdom, and deepens our understanding of life. When we embrace hardship rather than resist it, we turn adversity into advantage. Consider this. The greatest minds in history, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, faced immense struggles. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire during plagues and wars, yet he maintained his composure and wisdom. Epictetus was born into slavery and endured years of suffering, yet he found freedom in his mind. Seneca faced exile and betrayal, but used those experiences to deepen his philosophical insights. If these men, under such extreme conditions, could rise above negativity, so can we. The difference is in perspective. When life challenges you, ask yourself, how can this experience make me stronger? What lesson can I take from this? How can I use this moment to become wiser and more resilient? By shifting our focus from resistance to acceptance, we dissolve the power that negativity holds over us. Mastering emotional control. Another crucial Stoic teaching is emotional discipline. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. So often, negative thinking arises because we give external circumstances too much power over our emotions. Someone insults us, and we feel hurt. Something doesn't go our way, and we feel defeated. But the truth is, no one and nothing can make us feel a certain way without our consent. If someone criticizes you, it is not the words themselves that cause you pain. It is your interpretation of them. If you believe their words, you feel hurt. If you dismiss them as untrue, you remain unaffected. The power is not in the insult. The power is in your perception of it. The same applies to every negative emotion: anger, frustration, disappointment. When we understand that emotions arise from our interpretations, not from reality itself, we gain control over our minds. Instead of reacting impulsively, we can pause, reflect, and choose our response. This is true freedom. Next time you feel a negative emotion, stop and ask yourself, is this reaction helping me? Am I seeing the situation clearly? What would a wise and calm person do in this moment? By training ourselves to respond with wisdom rather than impulse, we develop an unshakable mind, letting go of the fear of judgment. One of the biggest sources of negative thinking is the fear of what others think. We hesitate to take action, express ourselves, or pursue our dreams because we worry about being judged. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us, it never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own. The truth is, most people are too consumed with their own worries to focus on us. Even if they do judge us, what does it matter? Will their opinion change the course of our lives? Will their approval make us more fulfilled? No. Living for external validation is a losing game. True peace comes from aligning with our own values, not from seeking approval from the outside world. The moment we stop fearing judgment, we unlock a new level of freedom. We stop overthinking, second-guessing, and hesitating. We act boldly, speak honestly, and live authentically. We become the masters of our own destiny, practicing gratitude and presence. A powerful antidote to negative thinking is gratitude. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the things he was grateful for, even in difficult times. When we shift our focus from what is missing to what is present, we rewire our minds for positivity. Every day, take a moment to appreciate the simple things, the ability to breathe, the people in your life, the lessons you've learned. Gratitude transforms our perspective and reminds us that we already have everything we need to be at peace. Equally important is presence. Negative thinking thrives in the past and future. We dwell on mistakes, worry about tomorrow, and miss the beauty of the present moment. But life only exists in the now. When we practice mindfulness, whether through meditation, deep breathing, or simply paying attention to the moment, we weaken the grip of negativity. Ask yourself, Right now, in this moment, what is wrong? More often than not, the answer is nothing. The mind creates unnecessary suffering by obsessing over past regrets and future anxieties. But when we anchor ourselves in the present, we find peace. Final words. You are in control. The journey to mastering your mind is not about eliminating negative thoughts entirely. That is impossible. Instead, it is about changing your relationship with them. Thoughts will arise, but they do not control you. Emotions will fluctuate, but they do not define you. External events will happen, but they do not determine your inner peace. The ultimate lesson of Marcus Aurelius and Stoicism is this: your mind is your own. You have the power to choose your perspective, your reactions, and your focus. You are not a prisoner of negativity. You are the master of your thoughts. So, as you move forward, remember, your thoughts are not facts. Hardship is an opportunity. Emotions do not control you. You control them. External opinions are irrelevant to your inner peace. Gratitude and presence are the keys to contentment. Let these teachings guide you. Every moment is an opportunity to practice. Every challenge is a chance to grow. And every day is a new beginning. Kill negative thinking, embrace resilience, and live as the highest version of yourself. You already have the strength within you. All you have to do is claim it.